codes are really more of guidelines than actual rules.
Here's something gross. Fun fact.
We're breaking all the rules.
Jessiez Rules.
I rule.
Hello. Welcome to Jessiez Rules, where there are no rules but Jessiez Rules. I am Jessiez Rules. This is my show, where I will be sharing all of my many useless skills. Some of them are useful. I'm full of fun facts and shenanigans, and I just really enjoy doing weird stuff. This is my first episode, and I'm going to just jump in with a bang and do some weird stuff. One of those things is an interview with Rodney Norman, who is an internet comedian. Well, he's a comedian and also he is on the internet. And one of my favorite videos of his where I first stumbled upon his things is a video of him in one of his characters saying you don't need permission to do weird stuff. You can just go out and do it. And to me, that was enough permission for me to go do weird stuff. And here we are. And then I ended up lucky enough to speak with him and have an interview with him. And so I would like to share the audio from that interview with everybody. Before I do so, I would like to discuss some weird stuff. It is the beginning of 2024. Christmas just passed, and due to some unusual, wacky circumstances where my dad totaled his car, my older sister and I got to deliver him back home to Idaho and meet our new baby nephew. In doing so, I gifted our other sister her Christmas gift, which was a face cream, because, we're all old now, and made 96% of snail secretions. And so I drove all the way to Idaho to give my sister a bottle full of snail slime for her face. And I could not wait because slugs are one of her biggest heebie-jeebies, and just seeing her go, "Oh, what are you doing?" was going to be my favorite thing. And that's what I was looking forward to. So yes, we went there, I gave it to her, and she was actually a lot more happy about it than I expected her to be, which was pretty funny and cool. And she was 100% willing to try it, which I did not expect. I posted that I had given it to her, or I said something about giving it to her, and another homie from the internet, Jerry, jumped into my messages and was like, "Oh man," sent me a picture, and she was like, "I use this stuff and it is amazing. It's been in Korea for years. It is not new to the beauty world, but it is new to my knowledge that it is useful." Now, one thing, I love snails. I freaking love snails. I think they are smart. I think they are adorable. I know that the snails in my garden prefer oatmeal, and they don't really like strawberries, but they do like banana peels, and I just adore them. When my sister passed away, I painted snail shells in her honor with, non-toxic paint. It was fine. And one lived on my front porch for, I want to say, 3 years. And one day I noticed the snail was spinning in circles on the side of the house on the stucco, and I was filming it and watching it. And turned out I was watching it die. And when I realized that my pet porch snail was passing away, I just lost my shit, started bawling. I was inconsolable over this snail. But to me, the snail represented my big sister who had passed away, who's in my necklace. And so I actually kept the snail shell, but I didn't want anything to happen to it because I do have, a dog and kids and a cat, and there are wild animals and raccoons and stuff. So I brought the snail shell into my house before it was decomposed or dried out. And it smelled so terrible, and that hurt my feelings even more. And so I cried for so long over this one garden snail that died on my front porch because I had painted on it in memory of my sister. And to go back even further, even my soap dispenser in my bathroom is a snail, and you pump it and it snail slimes at you. When I was a kid, my sister Lauren and I were out in the front yard playing. Our oldest sister Charlotte, who's passed away, she was asleep on the lawn. And our other older sister Lindsay, I'm the youngest, so they're all older. I'm going to say that a lot. Our sister Lindsay was putting snails on her. And there's this very specific sound. I can't make the exact sound, but all of us have it like embedded in our head. We're all in the front yard together, and she's putting snails on Charlotte, and then she drops one in Charlotte's mouth. And you hear the shell hit the back of her throat, and you hear her gag, and it was like a thunk and a and then a and she spit the snail, and it went flying, and there was like a cement walkway, driveway, and everything, and we're just watching in complete awe, like, and Charlotte gets up and she just starts chasing Lindsay up the street, and it's one of my favorite memories, and and we all make the sound of the snail going into Charlotte's mouth. And it's just, I used to play with snails. I had Littlest Pet Shop. I would put snails in with all my little dolls and Barbies. I just adore them. But I think about snails and I just hear my sister choke on one. So then to, get to drive to my sister's house now far away and gift her this bottle of snail secretions was just one of my favorite moments. And she was happy about it. So that was great. In honor of my big sister Charlotte, I have decided to dress up as a snail. A very elegant one because they are used in the beauty care scene. So I would like everyone to enjoy this Rodney Norman interview where we get permission to do weird stuff without support of the people closest to you, just so that you can be happy. It doesn't matter if you're paid. What matters is that your soul feels good and that you are enjoying life. I think that we all just need to get a little bit weird. And so I'm going to paint myself as a snail. One of the reasons I wanted to do this was because I have a dress. It just reminded me of a snail. It looked like a snail. And so I will be putting that dress on and then painting myself to match. I have this dress. It's just such a fleshy color and it has these ripples down the side, and when I look at it, I just think, wow, that looks like a snail. I don't know. I decided to be one. It reminded me of my big sisters, who I have been missing. I always think that people should definitely, if you are questioning buying a Christmas gift that's weird or simply just because it's funny, I always will say yes. Yes, get it, yes. If it's funny, get it. All right, so please enjoy this interview with Rodney Norman. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. This opportunity was set up by somebody else, and so I'm just enormously grateful for that. I always forever will be. I will be posting a video that shows the body painting and building the scene. I also will be including the final photographs. So check me out on YouTube when the video drops, and catch me on Spotify, and just giant, huge thank you to Rodney Norman for this beautiful interview. And if he's in a city anywhere near you, get your butt there because dang, this guy's funny.
Rodney Norman. I'm just some weird dudes on the internet.
That is how I introduce you as well, but I say it a little more from a fan. One of my favorite videos of yours is when you're in character and you say, you don't need permission to do weird stuff. You can just go out and do it. And I very much love doing weird stuff. And for a long time got a lot of, for lack of a better word, I got a lot of shit for it. And I needed the permission. I took that as permission, and now I do weird stuff. And now we're here with you.
Awesome.
So,
well, it's a pleasure to be with you.
How do you find the inspiration for your uninspirations?
A lot of it is just stuff I need to hear myself. I start getting, I get bummed and get down on myself and start having little pity parties. And I think, what do I need to hear right now? And think, let's make a video. And it's kind of a cathartic thing to just, get it out there and share it with the world. And it's like, okay, I'm taking my life a little too seriously.
I like that. To be the support you need.
Well, I was a middle child, so the constant need for attention from strangers. It's the perfect thing, because it's like, hey, I get lots of attention, but I can stay home and not go anywhere. Totally nice. No, the character is based on my grandfather. He's an alcoholic. He'd get, he was slosh most of the time, and he would share stories and stuff with me and my cousin when we were like, 8, 9 years old. And they were just the most ridiculous stories. And it was funny to me, he died when I was 12. And when I got older, I started doing stand-up. And I had one time I did a show where I basically was doing it as my grandfather when he was drunk. Just for the fun of it. Clicked with me, so I played around with the idea of creating this character loosely based on him. And I didn't know what to do with it exactly. And one day I'm watching Instagram. I have a friend who's trying to be a life coach, and he's always making these videos, and telling you to be your best self, all that stuff. And he's a good-looking dude. He's got the tan, fit body. He's got the wife is a nurse or doctor or something. They live in a mansion. He drives a Ferrari. He's very successful, making these videos. And I'm watching it going, no one's paying attention to this because it's like he doesn't, nothing he has relates to anybody else. It's like, well, of course your life is fantastic. What, you got a swimming pool in the backyard. That's when it dawned on me. I was like, that's it. My drunk grandfather is the world's worst life coach. And so that was the beginning of it. He's become his own character and its own thing, but that was the start of it. I played around with it for a few years, but when the big C thing happened, I'm sitting at home, nothing to do, so I just started goofing off and started making more videos, and they blew up.
My favorite advice my grandpa ever gave me was, it's only illegal when you get caught.
My grandfather had the same attitude.
I, for a long time, was like, it's not illegal yet.
Yeah, law of the land, it's only illegal if you get caught and somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, exactly. You say you started, considering life. You had a friend who was a life coach, and you give advice, but also unadvice or just open-ended things that you need to hear. And there's people who are so successful, like the saying, never trust a skinny chef. Like a life coach who is so successful that can they even relate to life? What qualifies someone or what overqualifies someone to be able to give advice? Because to me, I feel like it's just being in it.
Well, I think one of the things that I was able to tap into with the character is that there's no financial concern. He's not trying to become rich. He's not trying to become famous. He's not trying to sign you up for some course. He doesn't have any legal considerations. He's not trying to say it just the right way. He's doing it all wrong. And I think that's what really people connect with, is that pure, just honest of, look, I have nothing to gain from this. I'm just telling you what I think. And I think that's what really hits with people. Because, when you're a life coach, you're trying to say it just the right way, and bad advice, they might come back and they might sue you or something.
Yeah.
There's all those, And with my character, his name is Leonard. It just doesn't get. There's no filter, and I think people appreciate that. And it's disarming because you're not expecting this weirdo standing out in the middle of the woods to say anything important to you. Yeah, when people get upset for what I'm doing, I just do it more.
Yeah, there's a level of people can look at what you do and say, oh, you tell jokes and you make Instagram or TikTok reels in the woods. Well, no, it's a lot more than that. It's about pumping yourself up. It's about pumping other people up. It's about comedy. It's about living life. It's about being honest with yourself. The comment we get a lot is, you guys just play dress up. Well, it's not just dress up. It's recording. There's artwork. There's interviews. There's editing. There's effort. And it's that effort below the fun that people don't usually respect.
No, it's just being genuine and real. Even though he's a character, he's still just, just like I said, just that no filter, just doesn't care. I mean, I was making one video early on, and halfway through it, I started coughing really hard. And my mind is, as a creator, you're thinking, I got to reshoot this one, do it over. And I thought, as I'm coughing, I'm thinking, my character doesn't care. As soon as my coughing spell was over, I just went right back I didn't even acknowledge the cough. When I was done with the video, I just started laughing because I was like, you have those moments, especially when you're creating something, where you just have this breakthrough that came out of nowhere, and it was like, that's it. He doesn't care. So I have videos, I mess up the words, I don't say it quite right, or there's cars going by, or the camera falls over. I don't care. It doesn't bother him at all. It's like, well, I'm making this video, this is what I'm saying, and this is what happened while I did it. The desire for perfection stops most people from doing anything. If I'm not perfect at it, then it'd be terrible. It's like, no, you're going to be horrible at everything you do. You're going to be horrible at all of it for a long time, and you just got to keep going through it, and then eventually, you figure it out. But until then, just suck away.
Yeah, you got to enjoy being bad at something if you want to enjoy being good at it, too. I've been bad at a lot of things. I'm the one who edits all of our videos, so I decide what goes in, and there are times when I'm like, this shouldn't go.
Well, that's every one of the videos that I make where I get to the end of it and think that was stupid. I should just delete this. I always stop myself and go, no, that more than not, those are the videos that go crazy.
So how do you get yourself to make that decision? Because one thing that's always held me back is not getting the support from the people I love. I've noticed, I've written actual novels and books and then just never published them because I didn't have the support from people who said they loved me. So I couldn't get myself to do it, or I would do it out of spite, which felt like the wrong reason as well. But how do you get yourself to jump that bridge of just do it?
I think a lot of it is just create for the sake of creating. Because you don't know who needs to hear what you have to say. You don't know how people connect to you for a lot of different reasons, a lot of different ways. And if you keep, always second guessing yourself or waiting for other people's approval, it's like, well, you're never going to get it. And you also have to think that what you're creating may not be for everybody around you. May not, my family, they don't listen to my stuff because they hear me all the time. They're not, they're going to watch it. I don't worry about whether my friends like it or other. I've had a lot of other comedians tell me to stop doing what I'm doing. People try to give me advice saying, "Oh, you do it this way, do that way." It's like, and these are all people who've never created a viral video in their life. And it's like, you're going to tell me? I'm like, yeah, there are better ways to do it, I suppose, but I'm just doing it my way, and I'm having fun. I put it out there. I try to, like I said, get rid of the filter. Any of that negative, this isn't good enough, or whatever. Perfection is stupid. Perfection is boring, and I think that's what people are getting tired of. Everybody's got it perfect. Their videos are perfectly scripted. They got perfect thumbnails, and every word is perfectly set, and it's boring. It's just boring. It's like, I want to see something real. I just want to see some dude, being goofy.
Me too. Life is about being silly. It's short. So, okay, I have a couple questions that don't relate to anything specifically, but they're very special to me. And one that I want to start off with is, if you were a ninja, what would your ninja call be?
My ninja call?
Yeah, what noise would you make when you...
Yeah. Well, I took jiu-jitsu when I was in high school, and they used to say, "Kia."
Yes.
Yeah.
My kids know the kia.
I think, that's a great question.
My sister, before she hits me, always says a wapacha. Wapacha. And then she gets me. I mean, if someone came at me like that, I would back up.
That's one thing I learned in self-defense, was just act like you're completely nuts and crazy. And
saving people's lives, even. Next question has nothing to do with anything. Do you consider a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes. It's 2 pieces of bread with something in the middle. That's a sandwich.
Yeah, and a Subway sandwich is also long.
Absolutely. Hoagie, basically same thing.
I appreciate how just hardcore that answer was.
Well, one thing that I was contemplating so recently is the cheesecake is actually pie.
I agree. It's got a crust. It's not cake. So I feel that humor and comedy are absolutely necessary for life. I don't think that life should be as absolutely serious as it is. I think it's hard to find people's type of humor. Because I tell a lot of jokes that people don't get, and then also I'm very literal. And so when people joke to me, I'm like, why would you say that? Say you go to do a show and you have a large room compared to a comedy show where there's maybe a dozen people. How do you handle like the different size in who's receiving what you have to give?
I have fun regardless. I mean, a big crowd is a lot of fun just because there's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of energy. But a small crowd is also a lot more, it has its own thing because you can be a little more open, a little more honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little more vulnerable, as it were. Because I just did a show in New York at this. It was a weird space because it's in Brooklyn, and it looks like it's in an industrial building. I mean, it's like there's a muffler shop and like someplace. It's one of those indescriptible businesses that something's going there. It's probably illegal.
Yeah.
And then at the end of this thing, they have a brewery. It only, I mean, at its capacity, it could probably hold maybe 40 people, maybe 50 if you push it. We only had about 15 people at the show, right? It was fun. Everybody was there to have a good time. It was just a great show. And then I've done others where I've done, sold out theaters, and it was pulling teeth because the audience was just staring at you like, what is wrong? I think it's just regardless, you put me, get in front of people, I just appreciate it. I mean, I've done shows for one guy, and just whoever shows up, this is a tendency comedians have, is that if there's not a lot of people there, they'll make fun of the whole thing and they get kind of upset. It's like, oh, I can't believe this. There's only 7 people here. I look at it this way. Those 7 people are my favorite people in the whole world. Put up to watch me perform. I love them. I'm going to give it everything I have to these 7 people, and we're going to have a great time.
That's cool. I like that mindset. Because like I said, we just went to a show. It was very small, and we saw comedians have both of those mindsets. And the ones you could tell they were just like happy no matter how many people, that energy still goes. So that's cool.
They still have fun. It's still an audience, whether it's 2 or 2,000. It's still an audience, and you're there they're there to watch you. Give them a show.
Do you have any topics when you write your stuff that are off limits? Politics or personal stuff or just things that you won't get into?
I avoid politics just because it's become so divisive. It's so much everywhere. It's just, I think people come to a comedy show to get away from that stuff. I want to talk about other stuff. But plus, to me, political humor is just hack. It's just the same thing. Oh, if they disagree with me, they're idiots or they're evil. Oh, you know what I mean? That's it. That's all the political humor. It's just that. It's just,
yeah.
A bunch of idiots and morons. So I just avoid. I it's not because a concern other than I just want to give the audience a time to just relax and enjoy life and laugh and be away from all that stuff.
I appreciate that. I notice when politics comes into jokes, I check out because I'm like, man, I don't want to do homework.
Never said it too.
Plus, it changes every few years. Yeah, you can know policies and stuff, but all it takes is just, now it's voting time, and all those people and all those rules and all those things that you memorized before, now they're different, memorize them again. And again, that's homework to me. And so I was like,
it's all the same jokes. It's just insert so-and-so.
What would you say is one of your funniest jokes?
I think my favorite one that gets the biggest reaction is I was at this street festival, and I was just going around, and I realized while I was there that there was like people from like all over the world at this thing, right? And it was pretty cool. In fact, it got to the point where I realized that I was the only white guy there, and it was a little humbling, just that sudden realization that, well, I guess I'm in charge. And I like to point out, I say, look, two groups of people are offended by that. First group are white supremacists who didn't know they were white supremacists. And the other group are people who were too stupid to realize the joke was making fun of white supremacists.
That was a good job.
And no one ever sees that one coming.
Twist ending. One of my favorite questions that I ask people, I consider it a personal question because people go in and evaluate what they appreciate in themselves or in life as a whole. If you could be an animal, what animal would you be?
Oh, a honey badger.
Yes?
Yes. They're just, I just love honey badgers. They're just cool. They'll take on lions. They'll take on wildebeests. They'll just, kind of a honey beehive and just get stung like crazy and just don't care. They're just tenacious. They just don't care. Oh, they're just wonderful creatures. I just absolutely love honey badgers.
I didn't expect that, but I could see it. I see honey badger. They'll fight anything. They're ready.
Yeah, but there's one video about a zoo that had a honey badger who just kept constantly getting out of his enclosure and would go and fight all the other animals, regardless of what they were. And they did everything they could. They kept putting higher and higher with their enclosure. They kept trying to get different kinds of locks. And he just figured out how to get out of there. So then they thought, well, let's put in a female honey badger. Maybe he'll be more entertained by having her there, that he won't venture out as much. And instead, he just recruited her. He got her to...
That's a good answer.
That's the best.
I would be a tree frog, a poisonous tree frog.
Poisonous tree frog, that'd be a good.
That's my alter ego. But in my next life, I want to come back as mycelium, as like a mushroom that takes over a whole forest, and I plan to dissolve all the Bigfoot carcasses so that no humans ever find them, ever.
I think that's what's already going on.
I think so, too.
The other theory is that they're actually interdimensional beings, and when they die, they're taken to the alternative dimension. Because they're trying not to be spotted by us humans because we're horrible.
Also accept this answer. I think humans are weird.
We are. Especially when we come up against things we don't understand.
If an animal dies and it feeds multiple other animals, then that death is worth something. If a human dies, it doesn't feed or fuel anything because we are human and we prevent our bodies from doing so. Put boxes and stuff. And so, to me, it seems more inhumane to die as a human than it does to die as an animal. Because a human death doesn't...
Well, they do have services that... Well, there was that thing in Colorado that got in trouble. Did you see that? They were... the idea is that they would take your body and return it back to nature. And they were supposed to... And there's processes they have to go through and get rules to where they dump the bodies. They couldn't get the approval to dump the bodies, so they just stacked them up there at their facility.
It's not a good plan.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we got a great idea. We're making lots of money. We're bodies.
When you could just be fertilizer for a garden.
What is something that everybody looks kind of stupid when they do? Like, no matter what.
Skateboarding. Even if you're good at it, you still look dumb.
Mine is trying to find a straw.
Go in to find your straw, remember halfway through it, you didn't have one?
That's one that gets very time. Also, one of my favorite things in the whole world is watching people eat French fries and then they bite their finger. I'll lose it. I'll laugh for 3 days straight. I'll get hiccups. Like, that one gets me.
If you could start a secret society, what would it be?
A secret society of do-gooders. Go around and do nice things for people, but don't tell anyone about it. They don't make videos of it. It's just a group of people would just go around and just do nice things for people anonymously.
I'm already in that. It's like Fight Club. On our birthdays growing up, our dad, whatever he took us to do or whatever he would give us, say he would take us to an amusement park, he would always buy an extra ticket and give it to us to give away to someone in line. And so, like,
Oh, that's cool.
just on your birthday, one of the rules is you give a gift instead of just receiving. Do you have any real or fake advice that you would like to give to anybody who's trying to be happy? Not successful, but happy.
Well, we are complex creatures, and we can hold opposing ideas in our heads all the time, right?
Yes.
Well, guess what? You can also have opposing emotions at the same time. You can be sad that somebody passed away, but at the same time happy that you knew them and that you got to spend any time at all with them. Happiness is something you choose to be. It's not just something. When something happens that makes you happy, like let's say you get a scratch off ticket, you win $40. Woohoo! I won $40. Well, you could have been just as happy without the $40, but because you had the $40, you decided to be happy.
Yes.
Right? Well, you could just decide to be happy without the $40. You didn't need you didn't need the external stimulus to be happy. You can just say, "I'm alive. I'm here." That makes me happy. And you're still going to be sad. You're still going to get depression. You're still going to have heartaches and troubles and bills to pay and all that other nonsense. But at the same point in time, at least you're here. You're capable of solving your problems, and you can find solutions. You have challenges, and the challenges are good things because they build character and they make you a better person. So when you're having a hard time, go,
I like that.
this is fantastic. I can get through this. And that's what it's all about. You just choose to be happy. And don't tell me about the toxic positivity. That's just nonsense. That's just psychobabble somebody made up to sound important. You can just be happy when you decide to.
I like that. And sometimes I do just decide to. We all get caught up in like the poetry of advice, saying everything eloquently and beautifully, and sometimes people just need it to be said. I mean, I still might trust a skinny chef sometimes. Life coaches come in all different ways.
If you're trying to eat and avoid diabetes, you want to go with the skinny one.
That's true. I don't want diabetes, so, we'll consider them all. Well, when I travel, I will stalk your shows and see if I can catch one out there.
I'll let you know if I get something lined up in California.
Perfect. Always. Before we go, where can people find you online?
Oh, just Rodney Norman. You can Google me. I'm the most famous Rodney Norman that ever existed. Not against the other Rodney Normans, but I'm winning.
I Googled and that's true.
At RodneyNorman.com. Go to my website, see where I'm going, what shows I got coming up. I got merch, all that kind of stuff. So, and I'm on all the socials.
Perfect.
I'm out there.
And the best ways for people to help is catching a show and grabbing merch, right?
Absolutely. Send me cash.
We super appreciate everything, you taking the time and the reschedule. Appreciate you so much. I love everything you put out. Thank you for the vibes and just the energy you give to the world. It does change lives, even if that's not the goal. And I just think that it's absolutely beautiful and magical. And thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. You have a super freaking awesome day and stuff.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, bye.
All right, there you have it on the snail. A cute little show. Now, one of the reasons that I wanted to be a snail is because I could not use the snail slime beauty products because I have developed a shellfish allergy and snails count as a mollusk. And so I am too chicken to actually try the beauty care products. So I decided just to be the snail instead. Thank you guys for joining me. I absolutely enjoyed all parts of this and I hope that you guys did too. And I will see you back for episode 2. Thank you.